ŒThe Heir by Vita Sackville-West. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Smalley. Story 1. The Heir. 1. Miss Chase lay on her immense red silk four-poster that reached as high as the ceiling. Her face was covered over by a sheet, but as she had a high aristocratic nose, it raised the sheet into a ridge, ending in a point. Her hands could also be distinguished beneath the sheet, folded across her chest like the hands of an effigy, and her feet, tight together like the feet of an effigy, raised the sheet into two further points at the bottom of the bed. She was 84 years old, and she had been dead for 24 hours. The room was darkened into a shadowy twilight. Outside, in a pale gold sunshine, the birds twittered among the very young green of the trees. A thread of this sunshine, alive with golden dust motes, sundered the curtain and struck out, horizontally, across the boards of the floor. One of the two men who were moving with all possible discretion about the room paused to draw the curtains more completely together. "Very annoying, this delay about the coffin," said Mr. Nutley. "However, I got off the telegrams to the papers in time, I hope, to get the funeral arrangements altered. It would be very awkward if people from London turned up for the funeral on Thursday instead of Friday. Very awkward indeed. Of course, the local people wouldn't turn up. They would know the affair had had to be put off. But London people, they're so scattered. And they would be annoyed to find they had given up a whole day to a country funeral that wasn't to take place after all." "I should think so indeed," said Mr. Chase peevishly. "I know the value of time well enough to appreciate that." "Ah, yes," Mr. Nutley replied with sympathy. "You're anxious to be back at Wolverhampton, I know. It's very annoying to have one's work cut into. And if you feel like that about it, when the old lady was your aunt, what would comparative strangers from London feel if they had to waste a day?" They both looked resentfully at the still figure under the sheet on the bed, but Mr. Chase could not help feeling that the solicitor was a little over-inclined to dot his I's in the avoidance of any possible hypocrisy. He reflected, however, that it was, in the long run, preferable to the opposite method of Mr. Fairbrother, Nutley's senior partner, who was at times so evasive as to be positively unintelligible. "Very tidy, everything. Handkerchiefs, gloves, little bags of lavender in every drawer. Yes, just what I should have expected. She was a rare one for having everything spick and span. She'd go for the servants, tapping her stick sharp on the boards, if anything wasn't to her liking. And they all scuttled about as though they'd been wound up after she'd done with them. I don't know what you'll do with the old lady's clothes, Mr. Chase. They wouldn't fetch much, you know, with the exception of the lace. There's fine real lace here that ought to be worth something. It's all down in the heirloom book, and it'll have to be unpicked off the clothes. But for the rest, say £20. "These silk dresses are made of good stuff, I should say," observed Mr. Nutley, fingering a row of black dresses that hung inside a cupboard, and as he stirred them, moved with the faint rustle of dried leaves. "Take my advice, and give some to the housekeeper. That'll be of more value to you in the end than the few pounds you might get for them. Always get the servants on your side, is my axiom. However, it's your affair. You're the sole heir, and there's nobody to interfere." He said this with a sarcastic inflection detected only by himself, a warning note under the ostensible deference of his words, as though daring Chase to assert his rights as the heir. "And anyway," he concluded, "we're not likely to find any more papers in here, so we're wasting time now. Shall we go down?" "Wait a minute. Listen. What's that noise out in the garden?" "Oh, that. One of the peacocks screeching. There are at least 50 of the damned birds. Your aunt wouldn't have one of them killed, not one. They ruin a garden. Your aunt liked the garden, and she liked the peacocks, but she liked the peacocks better than the garden. Screech, screech. You'll soon do away with them. At least, I should say, you would do away with them if you were going to live here. I can see you're a man of sense." Mr. Chase drew Mr. Nutley and his volubility out on
Sample complete. Ready to continue?